Hey, friends, family, believers, patriots alike. I just got back from traveling, spending some time with family, and I happened to see this comment on Facebook from a former coworker. And you'll understand why I felt compelled to talk about it today. So I'm just going to read it to you. So it was a challenge to Republicans. It says, go to work tomorrow and tell a person of color that you work with that you should just go back to the country from which you came. Find a coworker with disabilities and mock them for it. Find a female coworker, and grab her inappropriately. Call a less attractive coworker a horse face and a dog, and see if you can make it till lunch before you're actually fired. And obviously, if you're not willing to do this, it's because you realize that it's abhorrent behavior. It's not appropriate behavior for adults. And if that's true, why would you elect a president who's done every one of these things on camera? Now, as I read that, I really had this I had this emotional reaction well up inside me. And I thought, we should just do a quick podcast short on this because this comes up all the time, really related to Donald Trump. How can you elect someone? How can you support someone of such moral character? So I'm gonna address this real quickly, but I'm gonna do it by asking a couple of questions. And they're meant to invoke a little bit of thought, a little bit of humor in it, but just go with me. So the first question is, if you knew a woman had 8 kids already, 3 of those were deaf, 2 were blind, 1 was mentally retarded, and she had syphilis, would you recommend that she have an abortion because she's pregnant? But you know what? Hold on to that. We'll get back to that question. So question number 2 is the most relevant. It's time to elect a new leader, a world leader, leader of your country, and your vote is the deciding vote that counts. And there's 3 candidates. Candidate A associates with crooked politicians, consults with astrologists, has 2 mistresses, chain smokes, and has been claimed to have drank 8 to 10 martinis per day. Candidate B was kicked out of office twice, is alleged to sleep until noon, and at least does not sleep till noon, at least doesn't get out of bed for some time, used opium in college, and drinks a quart of whiskey every evening. Candidate C is a decorated war hero, vegetarian, doesn't smoke, has an occasional beer here or there, has had no extramarital affairs. Now, if we put these candidates in front of you with the same line of what I just read about the Facebook comment from a coworker, what would you think? Absolutely, we should choose candidate C, hands down, of the higher moral character. So if that was the case, by the way, candidate A is Franklin Delano Roosevelt, candidate B is Winston Churchill, and C, you just elected Adolf Hitler as a world leader. I bring this up to a point. Oh, and the first question, if you had said, yes, this lady should have an abortion, then you just killed Beethoven. I share this with you because I get very frustrated. I get very frustrated with this link that is made between, if you support Donald Trump, then you absolutely approve of his character and of really his sins, and that you're okay with that. And it's absolutely not true. It is this all or nothing, black or white thinking that says it's either this or it's this. So I just wanted to set the record straight of why I support Donald Trump. It's not because I support his character. It's not because I support some of the things he's done. What I do support is how he's governed. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a big difference between what I would say is the modern day liberal and the conservative. Liberals look at what someone says, but a conservative looks at what someone does. And when you look at back how Trump governed his first 4 years as president, there is no denying that he did a lot of good things. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Questionable moral character, of course. But does his values, is the way that he governed most aligned with what I believe? Is it most aligned with what I think are more traditional, biblically held Judeo-Christian values? Absolutely. And you can argue all day long that Biden is the better moral person, but look how he's governed. Every progressive liberal attack on pretty much every value that this country has held for several hundred years has been absolutely assaulted under his regime. Assaulted. He has gone after it with a vigor, with prejudice that I have not seen in my lifetime. And so, sure, maybe he's a better person, although I would challenge that. Here's how I would compare Donald Trump. Donald Trump says some pretty important things. Joe Biden has done pretty important things. He's just a much more polished, crooked liar than someone like Trump or other politicians. He has perfected the art of smiling while he steals from you. That's what he does. So when I look at the two, it's not, well, I'm carrying one character from another. If that was true, I'd never vote in any election. There's so many people in Congress. There's so many people who run for president whose moral character I would never be friends with this person. But I do have to look how they govern. I have to look at how they vote. I have to look at the platform in which they support. If you were to compare the parties and say, how do you compare the platforms and take the party names out and just say, do you believe that women should be able to abort? Do you believe that a marriage should be between a man and a woman? If you were to list out all of these things and remove the party names, you would find the vast majority of America actually agrees with, like I said before, traditional held biblical Judeo-Christian values. And when you look at it from that perspective, there's no choice. So do I support Trump as a person? Let me rephrase that. Do I support Trump's behavior as an individual? Many cases, most cases, probably not. But do I support him and how he governs, how he led the country, and the platform that he supports? Absolutely, there's no choice. So for all of those of you who are out there who believe that by voting for a candidate means you approve of their behavior, wow, you have really got it wrong. You have really got it wrong. So I just wanted to set the record straight here today on The Grid.